Hey everybody, today I'm going to do a quick review on this little guy right here. Now what is this exactly? This is the Motorola MA1. It basically turns your wired Android Auto experience into a wireless one. So it doesn't add Android Auto to your car if you don't already have it. Rather, it just makes that whole experience wireless. Now I'd imagine if you're watching this, you probably know all about Android Auto already, but just in case some of our viewers aren't as familiar, Android Auto, in short, it basically projects some of the apps from your phone onto your car's infotainment system, onto the screen here. And so apps like Google Maps or YouTube Music, and there's a host of other ones here you can see. But it basically more fully integrates your phone into your car's infotainment system, making it a lot easier to use, of course, and a lot safer as well. Now with Android Auto, and the same goes for Apple CarPlay, traditionally we've had to physically plug it into your car using a USB cable. Now it still uses the Bluetooth connection for the audio, right? But all the data, the things that you're seeing on the screen here, are transmitted essentially over that USB cable. Now this is actually changing slowly as a lot of the newer cars coming out, some of the brands are incorporating wireless Android Auto from the factory and wireless Apple CarPlay, again, from the factory, where you don't have to physically plug it in with this cable here. But if you're like me, even with this 2021 model year truck that I've got here, I still have to plug in the phone to get Android Auto, and this is Uconnect version 4 for those curious. Now let me stop for just a moment and answer the question, why go through all this trouble to get wireless Android Auto, right? I mean, what's the big deal about taking a USB cable and plugging in your phone each time you get in your car? In other words, what problem does wireless Android Auto actually solve for you, right? And for me personally, what I found when I started using Android Auto, and I'm going on a longer trip, let's say over 45 minutes, then typically I'm going to pull my phone out of my pocket and I'm going to plug it into the truck so that I get that Android Auto experience, right? With the Google Maps for navigation, having the music all seamlessly integrated into your car's infotainment system. But then I found if I'm taking a shorter errand, maybe 10-15 minutes, then a lot of times I just hop in the truck real quick. I'm leaving my phone in my pocket down here and I'm not plugging it into Android Auto. But then I get driving to that short errand and I'm wishing that I had that Android Auto experience. I'm wishing I had everything seamlessly integrated into the car's infotainment system. I mean, here on the Ram, the Uconnect system, it's great. I think it's one of the best in the business. But still, I think the Android Auto, and for that matter, the Apple CarPlay, that whole interface, I mean, it's just hard to compete with that, just how seamlessly it integrates. So I found on those shorter errands, I wasn't plugging in my phone because I really prefer to just leave it in my pocket. So I think this product really is good for folks like me that you like to keep your phone in the pocket most of the time. You hop in your car, you're not pulling it out right away and plugging it in to charge. Or for ladies for that matter that like to keep their phone in the purse and not have to pull it out every time. If you're the kind of person that the first thing you do when you hop in your car is you plug it in to charge, then I don't think this product is really going to benefit you much. But again, if you're someone like me that you like to keep your phone in your pocket, especially for those shorter trips, that's where I think this product really shines, because then it gives you the ability to have that Android Auto experience without physically plugging in your phone each time. So first, let me talk briefly about how the Motorola MA1 actually works, and then I'll get into the review portion. Now, like I said earlier in the video, this does not add Android Auto to your car. So you already have to have a car that has a head unit, an infotainment system, right, from the factory or aftermarket that supports Android Auto. So that's the first thing to understand. Really, all it's doing is converting your wired experience with Android Auto into a wireless one. So instead of plugging your phone into your car through a USB cable, you plug in the Motorola MA1 device. And you can see I've got mine tucked down below here. I actually keep it up behind this trim so it's out of the way and doesn't risk falling while I'm driving. But basically that plugs into your USB ports. You can see mine down here. And that replaces your USB cable that you traditionally were plugging your phone into your car with. And essentially it still uses Bluetooth for the audio, right, that you're listening to, or the microphone on phone calls. But then all the data, instead of going through this USB cable here, it's going through a wireless network, just basic Wi-Fi. So essentially your phone is setting up a Wi-Fi connection between the phone, between Android Auto and the little Motorola MA1 device there. And it's actually kind of like a hidden Wi-Fi network. In fact, it doesn't show up on your phone if you were to scan for Wi-Fi networks. But if you were to scan on another device like an Apple computer and you search for Wi-Fi networks and you're near your car, you're going to see this Android Auto Wi-Fi network. And that's essentially what your phone is connecting to with the Motorola MA1. And that's supporting, again, all the data that was going over this USB-C cable. And so it's kind of a hidden thing that's taking place behind the scenes, but that's all it is. It's just using a Wi-Fi network, essentially. Now I'll give you some close-up looks at the device itself here while it's plugged in. You can see it's really small. I've actually left the protective plastic on the top here, so that's what that plastic is there. But it's really simple. It's got one button off to the side here, and then a little LED on the front that changes colors to signal different functions there. And it just plugs in through USB. They give you this shorter USB cable here, and then I just had to extend it with this longer one here to plug in to the truck here. But you can see it's really small. I'm not going to cover in this video how to pair it and set it up with your phone initially because it's really straightforward, and there's plenty of other videos out there that have already done that. I'll try to look one up though and put a link in the description below if you're needing help setting this up for the first time on your car. All right, let me give you a quick demo of what it looks like once you've got everything set up and connected initially, kind of what it looks like when you're starting up your car, how much time it takes for Android Auto Connect and all that good stuff. So just to point out, this is my 2021 model year Ram 3500. You can see it's got the 8.4-inch screen, but this is very important. This is version 4 of Uconnect, and so that's really important. The latest version as of this video being made is version 5, so this is a slightly older version here, version 4. But they use it in all sorts of different products across the Stellantis umbrella. So I mean, if you've got a Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and just kind of depending on the model year, because they started putting this in, I think around maybe 18 or 19, and then they just started upgrading to version 5, I think in the last year or so. So depending on your model year and what vehicle you have, you may very well have the exact same Uconnect version here as I do, version 4, and you'll see here on the screenshots in just a minute. But I think the experience that you're seeing here, if you've got the same Uconnect, it's going to be pretty much the same in your vehicle, even if it's, like I said, another brand under the Stellantis umbrella. So let's first see how long it takes to connect here. So we're just going to put it in the accessory position since we're inside the garage. And I'm going to time it. So I got my stopwatch here. We'll go ahead and start it. And then we'll go ahead and hit the accessory button here and just see how much time it actually takes. So first thing you're going to see is it's going to look for pairing on the Bluetooth side, and it's going to look for those saved devices that it's previously connected to. And we'll see it pair here in just a few seconds. There we go, Pixel 6 Pro. And then we're going to be watching down here along the bottom for it to show when it pairs to Android Auto. You're going to see that Android Auto projection logo. All right, so we're just waiting on that. So there is a little bit of a delay, you can see, and there it goes. So that was about 35 seconds approximately that it took from the time that I hit that start button for it to actually register here and connect through Android Auto. So there is a little bit of a delay there. I think a little bit longer compared to you physically plugging in your phone to the car. But for me, most of the time, by the time I'm out of the driveway, it's all, set up, paired, and registered. Now, once it's all loaded up and paired, the actual Android Auto experience, it's going to be the same here on this wireless connection versus your wired. At least for me, it has been. And so I don't notice any lag. You can see here I've got a map pulled up, and you can kind of see what that looks like scrolling around on it. No difference there. You're going to have your same apps. You can see there, YouTube Music, right? And then if you go to your home screen, you're going to have all that. And it's going to have the same, scrolling capabilities. Everything there is going to be the same. I have not noticed any differences in terms of my experience on wireless Android Auto, what I'm seeing here versus the wired connection. So really, it's just a matter of connectivity. It doesn't change this whole experience at all. So that being said, let me give you my thoughts on a review for the Motorola MA1. And for those curious, I've been using this product for about 4 to 5 months now. So I've got quite a bit of experience using it here. And that goes for both here in the Ram with this Uconnect version 4, but also in my Jeep Wrangler. It's a JK with an aftermarket Alpine head unit. So my experience is mostly going to be on here on the Uconnect version 4, but I'll talk a little bit about it on the Alpine unit as well. So to start things off, first off, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I mean, that is the good news. It does allow you to connect wirelessly. In fact, I would say 95% of the time when you hop in your car, it's going to connect seamlessly with your phone in your pocket without you having to do anything. It just connects and pulls up like it's supposed to. I'll talk about that other 5% here in just a little bit. Once it's connected, I would say the experience is almost identical to what you're going to have with the hardwired USB connection. I'd say 99% of the time it's going to function flawlessly just like it's supposed to. There's that one small 1% that I would say I've noticed over the last 4 to 5 months where it'll drop out or something will go awry, and it seems to always reconnect itself. You don't have to tap anything on the phone or the infotainment system. It just kind of drops out and then reconnects. So who knows if that's the phone's fault, the head unit's fault. But again, that's only 1% of the time I would say that I've noticed using this particular product. Now let's talk about connecting, because I mentioned for me in this truck with Uconnect version 4, it connects seamlessly about 95% of the time. So what does that other 5% of the time look like? So what I've noticed sometimes is when I turn on the truck, and it goes to that pairing screen where it's looking for a phone to pair to, every once in a while, it's like the memory gets wiped and erased on the stored phones that are stored via Bluetooth to Uconnect. In other words, if you go into your paired devices, even though you maybe got out of your truck the day before and everything was working fine and your phone was paired to Uconnect and to Android Auto, you get out the next day, you hop in, and it's like those Bluetooth devices are completely wiped out of the Uconnect Bluetooth connections there. And remember, Android Auto uses the Bluetooth connection for the audio, but then they have their own connection for the data, you know, wired versus wireless, right? So you still have to have that Bluetooth connection. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but again, about 5% of the time I'll hop back in here and the Bluetooth memory, it's like it's wiped out completely. And so in order to connect through Android Auto, I've got to then take my phone, put it into pairing mode, go into the Uconnect pairing mode, and repair my phone. The good news is I don't have to then repair the Motorola MA1, right? I didn't show that in this video. There's other videos that show you how to do that. But for some reason, when this happens about 5% of the time, I don't have to repair the MA1. So I'm not sure if this is a Uconnect incompatibility maybe, or some kind of glitch with the MA1 where it seems to clear out the Bluetooth memory of connected devices, and then you have to repair your phone in order to get not just the Bluetooth work, but the Android Auto. I don't know. You know, like I said, I've also used this product in my Jeep Wrangler JK that's got an Alpine aftermarket unit. I have not had that problem in the Wrangler, but I don't drive it as often, so I can't say for sure that, you know, it's the fault of Uconnect here in the truck. But if you're watching this and you own the Motorola MA1, or maybe even a competitor that does the wireless Android Auto, and you've had a similar experience, maybe with your Uconnect system or another brand where it's clearing out your Bluetooth memory and you have to repair your phone to the head unit in order for Android Auto work, definitely chime in and let us know in the comments below. You know, I've done a little bit of testing on it, trying to troubleshoot and figure out what's going on, but you know, it's completely random. I have not been able to reproduce it. It seems like maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, you know, I'll hop in the truck and it just like it lost all the Bluetooth memory on the connected devices there. And it's not just one device, all the Bluetooth devices, if you have multiple ones, are gone there. So that's really the only glitch that I've encountered. And again, maybe it only happens about 5% of the time. Now let me answer another question, and that is, what if you still want to charge your phone and use the wireless Android Auto? I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose, because the whole point of having wireless Android Auto is so that you don't have to plug it in. But let's say you want to plug in your phone for some reason. How is that going to mess things up or interface when you connected, you know, already to Android Auto wirelessly, right? So what I found is that if I plug in on a longer trip, I want to charge my phone while I'm connected to Android Auto wirelessly. You know, maybe you start out on your trip and your phone is in your pocket, and then you decide, hey, I need to charge. So what happens then if you plug in your phone? Well, what I found here on the Uconnect system is if I plug in my phone, it's going to pop up with a display, a dialog on the interface here and ask you, hey, I've detected a second device with Android Auto connected. Do you want to switch over to this second device, or do you want to merely, stay connected with the current one? So there's some smarts built into the Uconnect, I believe. I don't think it's Android Auto. I think it's Uconnect that's picking up on, hey, there's a second device with Android Auto available plugged in. And really, it's your same device, the same phone. It's just detecting it through another connection because it's then plugged in. So in short, the answer is no. It doesn't seem to mess things up. You can do that even mid-flight, while you're already driving. So that's the first question I answer. Second one I'll talk about is, how does it impact battery life, right? So I have not noticed a significant drain on the battery on my phone when I'm using Android Auto. Most of the time I'm taking shorter, 15, 20, 30, 45-minute trips or less. And so I haven't done really long, trips like that where it's all wireless. Typically then I'm going to plug in. But I have not noticed a significant battery drain on my device or where I'm having to then later charge my phone to get through the day. So no issues on the battery front. Now let's talk pros and cons. And again, these are my thoughts after using the device for about 4 to 5 months, almost every day. So first off, on the pros, it is almost completely seamless. Like I said, about 99% of the time, in my experience, it connects seamlessly behind the scenes. You don't have to do anything. It just works, right? I mean, in fact, if you hide the actual MA1 adapter like I've done where it's hidden down there behind the carpet, you really don't even know that it's there because it just works, right? So that's definitely a pro. I also like that there's no other app that you have to put on your phone itself, right? I mean, there's no app to download and install. It just works through the existing Android Auto. So that's really nice. And the connecting, the initial part, again, didn't cover that in this video, but it is really seamless, really easy to do. So, I mean, once it's set up, it does what it's supposed to do, right? Let's talk about the cons though. So first off, I talked about that potential incompatibility maybe with Uconnect and Android Auto, wireless Android Auto at least, where, just randomly, maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, it just clears out the Bluetooth memory of paired phones, and you have to reconnect your phone first to Uconnect before the Android Auto works wirelessly. Again, I don't know if that's a Uconnect issue, an Android Auto issue, or maybe even related to the phone itself. My suspicion is it has something to do maybe with Uconnect where there's just a slight incompatibility and some kind of signals getting sent that's clearing out those Bluetooth things. Again, if you've had that same experience, you have any more insight, feel free to comment in the comments below, or maybe you haven't had that experience at all, and maybe it's something to do with just my phone, which is a Pixel 6 Pro, by the way. So definitely let us know. Now let me talk about one other con that I've experienced, and this is one that I was not aware of until I started using the Motorola MA1, and it's one that was really off my radar and was not expecting it to be an issue. But it has to do with the way that modern cars keep charging ports, USB ports alive even after your ignition is off for a time being. Here on the Ram, I think it's about 15 minutes or so. I have never actually timed it, but somewhere around 15 minutes. And so basically when you turn everything off, this USB port down here where the Motorola MA1 is plugged into, it actually stays alive and hot, meaning it's powered even though you've maybe left your car, everything's off, the doors are locked and so forth. Now I remember growing up back in the day where we had these, we used to call them cigarette lighter ports, where we'd plug stuff in, and you had to be careful when you left the car to unplug it because it was connected to your car's battery and it was hot all the time. And so if you left, then it could run your car's battery down and you wouldn't be able to start the car. Well, then I remember cars got smarter and ports like this used to actually turn off when your ignition turned off, right? Well, now with USB ports, they're even smarter, and some manufacturers actually leave them hot for a time being. And this varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it varies even within the Stellantis umbrella among Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and so forth. But here in the Ram, I've noticed that these stay hot for about, let's just say 15 minutes or so after you get out. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I'll hit the off button here like I'm getting out of my car, right? And I'll open the door, right? So you can see everything goes off. But this USB port down here is still hot. And so remember, the Motorola MA1 is plugged into that USB port. And it, of course, is connecting, or it's emitting rather, a Wi-Fi signal. And then your phone, on the other hand, is connected to that Wi-Fi connection. So your phone was connected previously to the head unit through Bluetooth and that Wi-Fi connection. So now your phone is confused because it still is connected to that Wi-Fi connection through the wireless Android Auto, but the Bluetooth connection from the Uconnect is missing, if that makes sense. So if you're tracking with me, your phone kind of thinks it's connected to Android Auto, or it's at least trying to connect, but yet it can't because that Bluetooth connection is unavailable. And so I think this is something that really Android Auto could program so that when it detects a disconnect on the Bluetooth connection from the head unit, it knows, hey, I don't need to look for that wireless Android Auto connection anymore. There's no point, right? Because you got to have both of them. So again, I think this is something maybe that Android needs to work on with the Android Auto aspect of things. But basically what happens is, I'll get out of my truck and a lot of times I'll be within Wi-Fi range of the truck. And so I'll look down at my phone, and even though the truck's off, I've long left the truck, I'll see on my phone connecting to Android Auto, a little dialogue at the top there, as if it's trying to connect to the truck, even though, again, the truck is off. So that's one kind of downside, and I've troubleshooted and looked into it. And, there are things you could get on your phone, different software to try to kill that background running task. But for me, I just don't want stuff like that running in the background, so I've just kind of let it do its thing. And basically after a set amount of time, the truck completely shuts off, then it loses power here on the USB port, and that message goes away on your phone. Or, of course, if I'm out of Wi-Fi range for that Motorola MA1 adapter, then it's no longer going to show up on the phone. But like I said, if I'm within range, Wi-Fi range, and within that maybe 15 to 30 minutes, sometimes even longer, depending on if doors are opened on the truck or whatnot, I'm going to get that message on my phone that's kind of running in the background in the top tray there, showing connecting to Android Auto. So that's kind of a minor nuisance. I would put it in that category. I don't know if it really runs the battery down significantly. I haven't noticed it in my case. So I've just kind of seen it there. It's in the top tray icon. I've gotten used to it, but it is kind of a minor nuisance that I wish could be fixed, maybe through some kind of software update. All right, well, let me answer the last question, and that is, would I buy the Motorola MA1 all over again? And before I do that, let me mention one pertinent piece of information. This is something I just learned in the last week or so, and that is from infotainment.com. If you're not familiar with that company, definitely check them out. It's a really neat company. They basically specialize in OEM infotainment systems. They help people out that maybe you bought your car with a kind of a downgraded, a smaller screen or a different version of Uconnect, and you want to upgrade your car to maybe the latest Uconnect or a nicer, larger screen or something like that. And so they'll help you upgrade with an OEM solution, meaning the original factory display, just like that one here. But all that to say, I just heard from infotainment.com in the last week or so that they announced they're going to be releasing a Uconnect 5 upgrade for folks that have this 8.4 version 4 that want to add, this is the key, that want to add Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in that wireless format, right? So this is Uconnect 4. It already has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay built in, but it is wired. However, infotainment.com is going to be releasing where you can upgrade with a new head unit to Uconnect 5 plus wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay built in, meaning if you do that and you get the Uconnect 5 head unit, you don't need the Motorola MA1. So that's kind of exciting news for folks like me that have a 21 model year. Maybe you want to upgrade and get the latest Uconnect, and that's a nice benefit too. But then you also get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay built in, so you don't need a third-party external adapter like the Motorola MA1. So that's the good news. The bad news is the price for that upgrade is $1,799, so $1,800 essentially. So that is a pricey upgrade to swallow. For me personally, I think I'm just going to stick here with my Motorola MA1, which if I didn't mention already, it's only $89. So sure, it's not fully integrated like if I were to upgrade to Uconnect 5, but at $1,800 versus, $89, sure, you're also going to get a nicer interface with Uconnect 5, but I still think Uconnect 4 is pretty good, one of the best in the business there. So I think for me, I'm just going to stick with the Motorola MA1 for $89 to get wireless Android Auto. But to answer the question, would I buy it all over again? Yes. I mean, as simple as it is, the fact that, it works seamlessly almost all the time, I think it's really nice for folks like me that keep their phone in the pocket. Sure, I wish that some of those glitches I mentioned, like how it randomly clears out the Bluetooth memory on the Uconnect every once in a while, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, I wish it didn't do things like that. But again, I don't know if that's Uconnect to blame or Motorola, or even for that matter, my phone, the Pixel 6 Pro. So really, I think this is a great upgrade, a great product for folks like me that like to keep your phone, in your pocket. You don't like to be pulling it out and plugging it in every time you get in the truck. And maybe you're going on shorter trips that are only, 15, 30, 45 minutes. Again, if you're the kind of person that you always plug your phone into your car when you get in, I don't think this product is really gonna benefit you at all. Now, I will put affiliate links to this product, the Motorola MA1, in the description below. So I appreciate you using those to support the channel. I will say that the Motorola MA1 has been very hard to get. It's been out of stock at a lot of retailers pretty much since its release earlier this year, I think in February or so. But I have noticed it's started to become more and more available. So hopefully if you're watching this and you're trying to get your hand on one, that you can get one easily. I think Amazon's going to be your best bet, or Target. So I'll put an affiliate link in the description below. Again, appreciate you using those to support the channel. Well, that concludes my review on the Motorola MA1. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I got a favor to ask though. If you're watching this and you already own the Motorola MA1 or even a competing brand, I'd love to hear in the comments below about your experience. Was it the same as mine, or did you have different issues? Be sure to share important facts like what make and model car you have, or if you've got Uconnect, what version of Uconnect, and what kind of phone that you're using, because there's all sorts of different Android phones and maybe some work better with this Motorola MA1 than others. Again, I've got the Pixel 6, so definitely drop a comment below so we can all help each other out. But as always, thanks for watching.